Hi, another episode of TV Recap. We're going to be talking about Casshern. It's really bright. So, I don't know if I want to sit here and hold this like before. It's really good though. Looks really good. Alright, there you go. I'm going to hold it there for a few minutes. A group of guys, I guess another YouTube channel, I guess I'll promote them. Easy Allies. They're a video game group. They talk about video games. They said, Casshern, it's really good. It's way better than Inuyasha. And I'm like, okay. It's not better than Inuyasha. It's 24 episodes. Thank God it's only 24 episodes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have continued to watch it. It's a really good premise. The concept, the world, the environment that they're in, the scenario that they're in is a really good premise. It's basically in the future, way in the future. We as humans created artificial life, robots, and they became the dominant species on the planet. Humans basically almost all but extinct, and they have one actual human in the in one of the episodes. So they're in the future, and robots have dominated. They've lived through their life cycle, if you will, thousands of years, and they're starting to rust, and nobody can stop it, nobody can fix it, and they don't know what to do. Granted, there's a catalyst that they believe sparked this situation, but they're all starting to die off, and Casshern is supposedly that catalyst, the thing that started this ruin, as they like to call it. And they as a society, the robots, are struggling with this because they were like, oh, we were going to live forever, this is how life was supposed to be, but now we're struggling to survive. We don't know how to repair ourselves, we're dying off, this is horrible, this is, not what they think should be happening. And Casshern starts off without any memory prior to the start of the episode, so he doesn't know what's going on. And he encounters robots, faced with this peril, and they learn that he might be the key to salvation, and if they kill him or eat him, which is weird, then they can survive, which sort of makes sense. You can make the argument that, nanomachines are keeping him alive, and so if you consume him, you get his nanomachines, and they'll repair you, but they don't really ever go into any of that. It's just a conceptual thing that apparently isn't even true. So his exploration is our exploration into this world and how people are trying to live, trying to survive. And there's just some weird things that happen, like every person he encounters wants to kill him. And at first he befriends them and they want to be friends with him, and then they learn that he is Casshern and that if we kill him, we will live forever. And so they go apeshit and try and kill him, and it's just weird. I mean, the most prominent situation was he saves some weaker robots from some stronger robots, and they're grateful. They invite him into their community, and he tries to be part of their community. But then some rogue robot, is hunting him down and declares that he's Casshern, and if they eat him, they'll live forever. And so the whole community turns against him, and he kills all of them. And it's just kind of like, okay, makes no sense. I mean, it sort of makes sense, okay. And that's the struggle that you pretty much have throughout this whole story is it sort of makes sense, I guess. I mean, if they argued that these are more robots as opposed to living beings, because he does encounter initially, through the first half of the story. You feel like the robots are single-minded, are simple. They don't really have an intellect, if you will. They're more programmed and simple. And that kind of works. It's like, okay, it doesn't really give anything to it. It just feels simple. And the other thing is every single episode is very long, very drawn out, very slow, and I tend to fall asleep while I'm watching them. It is bad. You should never want to fall asleep while you're watching a TV show, or movie for that matter. And that's its downside. That's the downside of this TV show, is that you're bored out of your mind. You're struggling to pay attention to what's going on. And when they hit that moment of importance in the story, you're half asleep and you just missed it. I missed so many of them that I was like, twice I think it was. I've rewound just so I could hear what they said, but it was like, yeah, it ain't worth it. There isn't any real poignant moments. There's 2 moments in the story that are like, oh, okay, that was good, but overall there isn't enough to keep you going. And I thought, maybe his obsession with trying to find Luna's the one he supposedly killed and caused the ruin. It was the trigger moment. But he eventually does find her, and she is alive. And she just changed forms, or changed personalities, I guess, from being the one that bestows death upon robots to everybody's gonna die, now I choose who's gonna live forever. And so that's kind of weird. And then they try to portray her as being like evil, and it is really sad. So the culmination of this whole story is Casshern is supposedly the devil, and Luna is supposedly God. And Casshern brings death, and Luna brings life. But watching the episode with Luna in it, there's this little girl that follows Casshern around, and that's an interesting story, but they don't really go into. But they hint at. This little girl is terrified of Luna, of the town of Luna, and doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to, stay, and so that gives you a sense that Luna is evil. And she is a little twisted. She's like, she doesn't like death and decay, and she thinks it's disgusting, and so she'll just obliterate something to get rid of it, instead of heal it and it'll be good, and so she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. So it's kind of, she's a bit twisted in the mind. There's some other stuff they talk about and try to show her twistedness, but it's just flat. It's very empty. It's a very shallow conversation around this very interesting subject matter. And they just never really capture it. They never really bring it to full fruition. And so it's definitely not worth watching. I mean, if you're really into robots and androids and AI and the potential destruction that those systems bring, then it's definitely something to try and get through. But as the story goes, it's very boring. Maybe it's something to watch while you're doing something else. Maybe you could get away with that. But yeah, I don't recommend this show. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Also, if you guys can, since I do have some people that watch this, leave comments about things you would like me to talk about. Other shows. I mean, I do watch a lot of stuff. Do you want me to talk about the more mediocre stuff? Do you only want me to talk about the highs? Do you want me to talk about the lows, like this TV show? Just let me know. But thanks for watching. Until next time.